Hey guys, MGH here and welcome to a special video for Arsenal fans. I completely understand if you're not an Arsenal fan and you don't want to watch this, please do just click off the video. No need to leave some dislikes or horrible comments. But if you're a neutral and you're just interested in what I think about the whole window for Arsenal as a football club, then feel free to stick around because I might just ramble on for 10 minutes and talk about my disappointments, my positives and negatives. I'm just going to have a general discussion about what I think should have happened and what has happened for Arsenal in this transfer window. So to kick off the episode, guys, let's look at Chambers. He was £16 million reportedly. If there's a little star there, it's because it's actually officially put down as an undisclosed fee, but I've had a little dig around. And I do remember actually someone spoke of it being about around £16 million. For a youngster of Chambers' age, ability, it's a bit expensive, but don't forget, guys, he's an English player, and English players are always so much more expensive. Look at Luke Shaw, for example. He's having troubles with fitness. I mean, you look at Chambers, who was practically half the price and has slotted into this Arsenal team absolutely brilliantly well. So really happy with Chambers. It is a bit, it's quite a bit of money, let's be honest. 16 million for a youngster is a lot of money, but the reason I really like Chambers is his versatility. I really like the fact he can play at the right back, which is where he played at Southampton. I really like the fact that he has been playing at centre back and looks comfortable. It's not like he feels like he's being played out of position. He almost looks like he's always played a centre back. And Wenger's already discussed about moving him into central midfield possibly. So we have a great youngster in our hands. It's another English player, which I think is always good. It's always good to have a nice English core for your club, if you're an English club specifically. You know, if you're a Spanish club, you want Spanish players, right? It's just the way it is. And I really like that about Arsenal. We do have a lot of great young English players. So Chambers, I'm going to give it a solid 9 out of 10 for that signing. I do think it's really good. The only negative is his price. It's a little bit much, but you know what? In this day and age, 16 million for a young English player with a great potential, 16 million isn't too bad. So I'm going to give this transfer a solid 9 out of 10, like I said. I really like Chambers, and I cannot wait to see him progress and just see how he does over the next few seasons. The next signing we're going to talk about is Debussy. Now, he is 29 years old, so that reflects the price. He was 12 million from Newcastle. A few people said that we overpaid, but I don't think so. Debussy is a France international. He was playing ahead of Bacary Sagna and other players at the World Cup. He has Premier League experience after signing for Newcastle, and in general, just a solid right back. He's a reliable right back. He's nothing world class. You won't see anything special with him, but he's a solid player. And with Bacary Sagna going, we had to bring someone else in. I think Debussy was a very, very nice signing indeed. It would have been nice to get him cheaper, but he only spent a year at Newcastle, so he had a lot of his contract left. He's got another 2-3 years left at the top of his game. 12 million is a pretty good price. I'm going to give this signing a solid 8 out of 10. We'll go with an 8 out of 10. I like Debussy, and I think he's going to be a great player this season for Arsenal because we are lacking defenders, that's for sure. So thankfully we brought him in, and he seems to be settling in really well and playing like he's been at Arsenal all of his career. The next one, Ospina, our backup goalkeeper to Chesney, although Wenger will be playing him in the FA Cup and things like that. 3.5 million reportedly, roughly around that, is obviously a great signing. Not many people know much about Ospina other than he looks like air japes, which I completely agree with, but I've heard he's a great goalkeeper. I haven't seen much of him. Good in the World Cup. He's been good at previous clubs. It's just a good signing. What can I say? We needed a goalkeeper because we lost, I've forgotten his name. Fabianski, that's it, to Swansea. So we had to bring someone else in. It's a good signing, 7 out of 10. What can I say? It's just what we needed. He will do. He won't hamper Chesney's, improvements. If anything, he's just going to help the team, and he strengthened the team. It's as simple as that. Now the big one, Sanchez, 35 million from Barcelona. Arguably a player that, if you look at our team, we don't necessarily need creative midfielders. We've got a lot of them. So in terms of that, it's not exactly what I think we needed. If we could have spent 35 million on a striker, it might have been a better choice. Sanchez can play as a striker, don't get me wrong, but I prefer him playing wide and cutting inside. We could also spent that kind of money on a world-class defender or potentially a big CDM. But I'm really happy with Sanchez. I think he's exactly the type of player that will fit into Arsenal. His work rate is incredible. I'm hoping they're going to buff his stamina in FIFA 15 to, at least 85. He's just an absolutely... He's a bull. He's a machine. He just doesn't stop running. And his play suits Arsenal. The quick passing, quick movement, and for once, if Walcott is out, we've got someone who can come in and provide that pace. I think Sanchez obviously will play ahead of Walcott if anything, but it's good to have options, and the fact he can play up front, he can play on the left if you really want him to. He's a very, very good signing. Again though, 35 million, it's a bit pricey, and also he's not 100% what we needed, I don't think. But nonetheless, a great signing, and trust me, what a difference he's made to, this summer. If he wasn't being signed this summer, we wouldn't have spent much money, and I think we would have been depressed. Although some of us are anyway, it's good to see him in the team. I think Sanchez is a great signing, and I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. Not perfect. I think, to give it a 9 out of 10, it's a signing that we needed. It's decent value for money, and will be great in the future. Sanchez has all of that. He's a bit pricey though, knocking off 1 point, and I'll knock off 1 point because he's not 100% what we needed. But I'm not complaining. Fantastic signing, and I was really happy to see it go through. And obviously the last signing we made was Beck for 16 million from Manchester United. Can't believe it's actually happened. When I first heard of it, I've got to say I was a bit like, oh, well that's not very good, is it? Beck isn't a world-class striker yet. He's not. His movement is good, he's strong, he's pacey, he's good in the air, don't get me wrong about that. That goal against Real Madrid was fantastic. And he's got good experience for his age as well. He's got 25 caps for England, he's played over 100 games for Man United, he hasn't scored many, but he's got the experience we need. And I think Wenger, he's been known to nurture young players into these great players. You think back to, especially with Thierry Henry when he joined, he'd been playing on the left. Clearly that wasn't right, and as soon as he was moved into the striker role, he started to flourish. Beck at Man United, they know he's a striker, but he's often played on the left. I think when Wenger pushes him up front, especially that Giroud's out and Sonogo's not quite good enough just yet, I think Beck could do well. I'm a bit worried though, if he doesn't score in the first few games, he's going to get a lot of shit. I want to say this now, if you're an Arsenal fan, back him. He's wearing the Arsenal shirt. He chose Arsenal over many, many other clubs. And you've got to back your own strikers. If you want them to get confidence and score, that's what we need to do. So give him a chance. I'm sure he will bring good to this club. I'm sure over the next few years he will flourish into a very good striker. But I just don't see that world-class flair in Beck. I'm not sure if he'll ever be, quite good enough to lead us to, Champions League, for example. I don't see that happening, and we're nowhere near that kind of level at the moment. So in general, guys, this window's been disappointing but good at the same time. Up till about a week ago when Giroud got injured, I would have said this window's been pretty much perfect. We've got good signings in, and I would have said all we need now is a CDM and a centre-back and a striker. And on the last day, it's gone to disappointment. We've been linked with so many good players, Carvalho, Khedira, there's so many good defenders that have gone, like Manolas, we could have signed him. And unfortunately for us, Beck was the only signing on deadline day, meaning we only have 6 defenders. 6 defenders to last this season. It's not enough. If we get injuries, we are screwed. It's as simple as that. We need a central defensive midfielder. I'm gutted that we didn't manage to get Carvalho. I thought he would have been perfect. Apparently we made an offer on deadline day, and it was turned down, and therefore there wasn't enough time to make another one. So poor excuse, really. Not good enough at all from the Arsenal board there. Not good enough from Wenger, to be honest, because it's what we need. Arteta and Flamini cannot just hold that role themselves throughout this year. They're both ageing. Arteta, I don't think, has it anymore. And Flamini, bit unreliable sometimes. Sometimes absolutely fantastic, don't get me wrong. But signing a CDM would have been great. We absolutely needed a defender, and we didn't do it. But we did get ourselves a striker. So I'm happy with Beck overall. I'm going to give that one a 7 out of 10. I think it's a decent signing. It shows that at least Wenger's willing to kind of look at areas where we need reinforcements and kind of make the plunge. But I think really he went for him because he's English. And in a way, it's Manchester United. He fancied raiding a United player. I guess he just wanted something back after all the years of selling to them and other Manchester teams, for example. But other than that, I think the window's been okay. I'm going to give our window a 7 out of 10. To make it a 10 out of 10, obviously, it would have been a centre-back and a central defensive midfielder, but I was very, very upset with Wenger before we signed Welbeck. I felt like that we hadn't done enough. It's as simple as that. And to be honest, we haven't. We are underprepared for this season. And once again, we are basically 1 or 2 signings away from really competing at the top of the league. It's disappointing to say the least, but what can you do? Arsenal fans are used to it. Thank you for watching, guys, and I will see you next time.